All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Elias Dell, owner of Ampersand Media LLC. We are a portrait photography and wedding filmmaking company based here in Greenville, South Carolina. So, if you or anybody you know is looking for services under that category, check out our website, ampersandmedia.net, to schedule and get some more information. So, this is going to be the Ampersand Media Podcast. Or the Ampersand Project or the Ampersand Podcast. Haven't fully decided on a name. Not that it really matters, but I care about the names and stuff. So definitely something I want to try doing weekly, where I'm going to be talking about business related questions, like how to start a business. And I would say I have no experience in anything like this. I did my research on a couple of articles, watched some videos, and then eventually decided, hey, I can do this. And I want to do this and I want to try it. So went ahead and took down the first step. And so you can do it all on your own. It's not necessarily difficult. It's just a lot of paperwork, I guess. And it's definitely cheaper if you do it that way. But the much easier way, and the way that I would recommend if you have the funds to do it this way, because you actually get it done in one place instead of delaying it and making it go longer, is there are registered agent services or LLC incorporating companies. For example, Taylor Brands, Northwest Agency, and there's another really popular one, LegalZoom. Pretty much these places, the way that they have you fill out the paperwork is much easier and it makes more sense. But I've actually already trailed off. I haven't even told you what else I do. So that might be a topic for a video that we get into, either in a podcast format or in an actual YouTube video format. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can see when we upload new videos. So that's one example of something I'll talk about on this channel. That's actually the business side of things, which again, I'm not anybody when it comes to business, right? I don't have a business degree. I don't have a photography degree. I'm not a tax accountant. I'm not a lawyer, nothing, right? I just like taking pictures and I want to get paid for it. So that's one topic we'll discuss. Another one we'll talk about is gear reviews and gear comparisons and stuff like that. For example, I can tell you exactly what camera, what microphone, what lights, what audio, what mic I'm using, everything, model numbers and everything when it was released. I'm a total gearhead when it comes to this stuff. So I'd be happy to talk about that stuff, cameras and mics and lenses and just anything that's remotely related to photography, video, content creation, even gaming. This is my office where I make videos. I'm editing a wedding as we speak right now. Well, not as we speak, but before I started this. And I also play games. I'm a PC gamer. I have a PlayStation, I have an Xbox, but I choose PC. Mouse and keyboard is better for me. And that's another topic we can talk about if it comes up. But I was going to try to keep this channel a little more focused on camera related activities, but if it works out, it works out. And the third topic that I will be talking about throughout this channel is going to be photography philosophy. So we're going to talk about the business side of things in terms of running a photography business, the gear you need, what cameras, what mics, what lights, etc., all these small things like that. And the third one is going to be camera philosophy, which probably be the smallest portion. If I were to put on a pie chart, it'd be the smallest amount, because philosophy is more so composition, camera settings, rule of thirds, stuff like that, things to keep in the back of your head while you're actively out there filming and maybe even back home editing and whatnot. So definitely something that I'm interested in, I'm experienced in. I want to talk about it. I like sharing my insight with people and helping them see it one way or the other, or maybe answer a question they have. There's a lot of things that you learn through this. Oh, excuse me. There's a lot of things you learn through this that, at least coming from my background where I didn't have any formal training on it. Here's how I got into photography, right? When I say real quick, this is going to take 20 minutes, so bear with me. It was March of 2019. I was living in an apartment in Beaufort, and at the time I was really into gaming, like PC gaming, like hardcore. I was live streaming on Twitch. I was making highlight gaming video reels, stuff like that, and I was doing it on a daily, or I think like 4 times a week basis. So it didn't get to a point where I made money off of it or anything, but I pursued it. It didn't work out, but I learned from it. And at the time, there was this new gaming mouse that came out. It was called the Final Mouse Air 58 Ninja, which, it's Ninja's mouse that came out a few years from Final Mouse. Incredible mouse. They kept claiming it was like a revolutionary thing. It's gonna change the gaming mouse world forever, and it was a great mouse. Still my favorite mouse to this day. And I've only used like 6 mice. I've used 6 mice, and the Final Mouse Air 58 is still my favorite to this day. Right now, I'm currently rocking a Logitech G Pro Superlight 2, and I'm still getting used to it, but I'm liking it a lot. So I got this mouse, and I knew that it was a topic of discussion in the community among gamers, specifically gamers, and I thought, hey, like if I make a video, like a review or unboxing on this product, I might get a lot of views, and that might jumpstart my career on YouTube, where I can start doing gaming and camera related tech review. So that's what I try to do. And at the time, I owned a Call of Duty YouTube channel that had 15,000 subscribers, right? And I know that I'd been out of the game for that aspect for a few years at the time, but like I knew how to make YouTube videos. I knew how to talk into a mic. I knew how to dialect and dialogue and like captions and make videos, essentially throw on music, throw on text, whatever. I knew how to make the videos. And the problem was I had only ever used like screen capture or a capture card of some capacity. So when I needed to make a video, I was like, oh, I can't use my phone because the quality is not good. Not knowing now what I did then, it would have been fine. It was an iPhone 7 or Google Pixel 2. That's what it was. And I could have made it on my phone, but I thought I needed a professional camera to make a professional YouTube video, and it would elevate my quality, my performance, my final product. So I asked around. Turns out that my now wife, then girlfriend's dad he did weddings in the past. So we already owned like a professional Canon DSLR with a couple of lenses, batteries, like the whole thing. He gave me his whole kit. He's like, hey, I haven't touched this in years. Here, borrow it, try it, see. I mean, you can't have it because it's expensive, but borrow it, see how you like it. And I got home and I was like, okay, cool. I can make this video now. I got my camera, I got the lens, like I'm good to go. Batteries are charged. And I remember turning the camera on, thinking it was gonna be as simple as a GoPro. Like you press record and you're done. Like you hit record and you just film and then that's it. And I could not have been more wrong. That event, right? Like that, whatever came together for that to happen, got me to dive very deep into photography. Mostly just because I wanted to understand how to use the camera. And then as I was learning what each button and which setting and like ISO and shutter speed and all these other things that are incorporated in camera, how they actually function, I learned to go manual on the camera and start, experimenting with all the different settings. So I would do like a long exposure, astrophotography, super shallow depth of field, portrait, product, real estate, landscape. I would just do anything and everything I possibly could because I wanted to learn as much as I could. And at the time, I never had an interest in monetizing this. I was like, hey, this is a cool thing that I can learn and get experience with and improve and show progress through physical photos and videos for that matter. And I pretty much just dived headfirst into photography and learning everything there is to know about it, which, I mean, it worked out for me pretty well. I would say the first 3 to 6 months or so, I was heavily focused and actively doing this thing where I would have an idea and then try to create it, and then I fell short, and then it's okay, let me look it up on YouTube. How do I do slow motion? How do I add text to Adobe Premiere Pro? How do I do this? How do I do that? And YouTube is a free library of information and resources that really elevated my experience. Like I will say, if YouTube did not exist, it's hard to say for sure, but I don't think I would have ever bought any courses or tried to go to college or anything for this. And the amount of knowledge I have now would have been like astronomically lower. Like I might even be shooting in auto still, not really knowing what the heck is going on, what ISO is, and how to change your shutter speed, and just everything, and how everything works and what it does and why it works that way. So that's pretty much the first time I had a camera. And then in October of that same year, I had made the excellent decision to buy a full frame Canon DSLR with like the cheapest possible lens I could find, which was a 17-40 f4, which I still own to this day. And that was the first thing I bought, which was, I think it was like $1,500 that I did not have, right? Like I threw it on a credit card. It's like, oh, it's fine. I'll just credit card. I'll just pay it back later. And that really messed me up big. A lot of the stuff I own, well, not a lot, maybe less than half, I'd say, maybe more so. About half of the stuff I own in terms of photography and cameras and gaming related accessories and stuff, like understanding credit when it comes to doing this stuff, is very important to understand that, unless you have an abundance of money you can just throw away, or for a fact you're going to be getting $1 million when you're 25 or some crap. Yeah, it sucks because I want so much more gear, and I understand how easy it is to fall into debt, buying things you don't need, to impress people you don't want or you don't like, or what's the phrase? But either way, so that's kind of where we're at right now. So now I've started my business. I've been doing this for 3 years. Really, it's like 3 years and 7 months, something like that. Actually, almost exactly that. 3 years and 7 months. Yeah. And like, I'm equally excited to get started and equally terrified that it's not going to work. And not in the sense that, like, I didn't quit my job to do this full time. I still work 2 other jobs, one part-time, but still, as my primary source of income to make sure that, like, I'm good. If you were to ask me my dream ideal scenario right now, that would be able to do my photo and video business full time, at the very least to replace my current salary intake from all sources. Because if I could get the same amount of money, like just the bare minimum is whatever I make now, what if I can do that, then I can quit all my other jobs, and then I can focus solely on my job, my business. And with all that extra time, I can, scale up and go forward and make a lot more than I probably ever would have been able to in my life. And then at that point, in theory, of course, the profits from the business would allow me to expand and upgrade my equipment. Like I got a couple of Amazon list of equipment that I plan on buying in the sometime future. And this wouldn't, like, it would and it wouldn't. It's kind of weird because, let me explain before I keep rambling. The list contains things that I consider an upgrade, a necessary upgrade to the business. And I'm not trying to get like tax write-off and super technical. It's just specific things I know. Like before I had a business, me upgrading to a higher quality camera or a nicer lens or anything is like, okay, like I'm not making money off of this, but this is kind of cool, and maybe I can experiment, and maybe this will help me start my business or whatever. It almost never did. It was actually the reason I started it is I got hired on for 2 weddings back to back on a weekend, and I was like, every time, because I do it so infrequently, what I'll do is once I get booked, I'll start doing research to like refresh my memory or refresh my posing ideas or my record ideas, I guess is what you would call them, right? It pretty much just like to refresh myself and get like back in the mental state of weddings, because for those of you who don't know, my personal job, I'm also a school photographer for a photography company. So it's not like one school, it's like we service a bunch of schools in the area, and I have all my gear in my car. We roll it into the schools, we set up in like usually like the gym or something, and that's where we do our yearbook picture day. You know picture day from school. You wait in line, you look at the camera, you smile, you move on. Same thing, just day in day out, Monday through Friday. So So that was happening Monday through Friday. Then I get booked for a double wedding on a weekend. At the time, I wasn't LLC. I didn't understand any of the business thing. Oh man, excuse me. And after doing some of that refresh research, I had come across I had come across a couple of videos and people saying like, oh, like you need to be an LLC or an S corp business because it protects you against like people trying to sue you and liability and all this other stuff. And honestly, like as far as sorry, let me rephrase. Among my research, it doesn't seem like a lot of photographers and videographers do get sued on like a regular basis, right? Like, yeah, things could happen, but it's not a high risk job to be in terms of that. So a lot of people don't like think that you need it, but also I like having it. It's kind of cool to say like, hey, I own a business, and anybody can do it. You know, truth be told, I think $500 upfront cash, right? That's how much you need to like physically start the business. And that's not even a definitive number. That's because you can go cheaper. But remember earlier in the video, I said that I utilized one of those LLC formation companies. So I used Northwest Agency, and I mean, they made it extremely simple. Like I was actually donating plasma and I filled out the application in that hour's time, but I think it was more like 20 minutes or so. And by the time I got home, I got like a letter or an email rather saying like, hey, like your business has been like approved and you're operational, like you're good to go. So you could start a business in less than 30 minutes and for less than $500. That was a particular price range for me because of what I needed. Me being a service business, I don't really have tangible products to sell. So that made it a little bit easier for me. And I had to set up a couple of other things. So I think like the things you need to legally or officially become a business is like an LLC, S corp, whatever. I think LLC is the most common. Get an EIN. That's it's a IRS tax employer identification number. That's what it stands for. And then you take that and the LLC information to like a bank, and you can create a business bank account. And that way you can have any money you make from the business go into that account, and then you can pay yourself and do taxes from that account instead of sending the money to your personal account and then having a bunch of issues when it comes to tax time. It just makes things simpler. And I mean, realistically, that's all you need. That way you have a business LLC, you got the bank account because you got the EIN, and now you can start charging people. And I saw this TikTok, or rather it was a YouTube short from Alex Hormozzi, I think is how you pronounce his name. And it was like, I forget, it was a out of context clip of him from an interview, and I don't know which one it was, but the interviewer, I'm assuming, says something along the lines of, in the simplest way you can describe, what is a business? And he kind of goes on to say like a business is someone or a couple of people who get an LLC, EIN, business bank account. And then once you are like set up and able to take business, you go out and tell people, hey, this is what I do, this is what I charge. And then that person or people give you money for your service, and then you do the thing you said you're going to do. And it's like, yeah, that's like the most simplest explanation, but also that's all it really is, you know. A lot of the things that was keeping me personally not proactive in terms of starting this much sooner, because I think I could have well over a year ago and had a confident amount of confidence to do it, you know. It's just fear, you know. What if it fails? What if this? What if that? What if, you know, they do this? What if this happens to them? Fear. It's all it was. Once you kind of, and I think there's two ways. It just kind of real quick, and then I'll probably end this. In terms of fear of starting a business, or and you can translate to this to anything else, I think the only two things there are to fear is fear of failure and fear of like not knowing. And so like fear of failure and fear of regret, two sides of the same coin, I'd say. So you can do it like, I am scared to start the business because I'm scared to fail, because I'm scared of what people would think of me if I didn't successfully operate a business. Because what does that say about me personally? That's one option. You know, if you think that, there's ways around it. I'm not going to get into that now, but that's one option. The other one would be fear of regret. Like what if I did start the business? Maybe I could have been a millionaire. Maybe I could have had 6 figures. Maybe I could have quit all my other jobs in my life and not have been miserable doing work I don't enjoy for people I don't like. And I think I started off on the fear side of things. I was scared it would fail. I was scared not knowing how to do it. A little bit of research and determination will get you through it. Like I said, again, for me, it was about $500 to start the entire business, start to finish, but that's not how much it costs to maintain it, right? And that can be a topic for another video I discuss in the future. Specifically for me with photo and video, there's a lot of online companies and memberships that you need to partake in order to maintain professional and also to enhance the quality of your work. Just really quick to name a few. In my personal, so like for wedding videos, something I'm going to need to invest in is a music library like Artlist. I was just looking at them, not Squarespace. That's another one though. A website. You need a website. So you have, annual website, music licensing. Depending on what other websites you use, you could use like Dropbox or Google Drive, but then you need to pay for storage. And the list goes on. There's also the list goes on. So I'm gonna say, because there's a lot more. So that's gonna be it for this first episode or first podcast, or I don't know what this is. I'm sorry, I'm still getting used to it. Just trying to start posting content so you have something to actually watch and not just anticipate what's coming in the future. One thing I realized is within my business, a lot of the stuff that I would be able to share wouldn't have much context or commentary to it. So what I'd like to do, what I plan on doing, what I think of doing is my business relates around me delivering photographs to couples, or rather photographs to people and videos to couples for the most part, but I can do much more than that. I just don't want to go too wide. So just real quick, if anybody has any particular projects you're interested in, feel free to ask. I probably can do it and probably will want to, but it's not the primary source that I want to deliver. And what was I saying? Give me 1 second, bringing it back. Nope, I lost it. That sucks. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching or listening. If you made it this far, I appreciate your time. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that right now before you leave this video. That way you can be informed of when new videos and podcasts like this one get released. Until next time, my name's Elias Dell, owner of Ampersand Media. Have a good day.